Let's see here. Wow. That is amazing. Welcome to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps out a lot. It doesn't cost anything. It'll just give you a notification once I release a new video. Today I'm in Moorhead, Minnesota, standing in front of a house that showed up on an 1890 map. I've got permission to excavate the grounds in search of artifacts, so we'll take a walk around and see what's going on. Here's the house. It still has some of its original features. It was veneered with that stone. The house is actually made of brick. I was told there's also machine cut nails in it. There's the back lot. It's fairly open. I got the utility lines marked out. If there's something back there, we should be able to find it. Just off the side of the house, I noticed this big sunken area. I pushed a 7.5 foot rod into it and hit what I believe is glass down about 6 feet. I also hit a loss of compaction and what I believe could be coal ash. That's a good indicator of an early site. We'll get this thing opened up. I'm down over 4 feet. Found a high voltage line. Note I did get utilities marked out, but this one is a private line. They're not required to mark them, so always dig with caution. Looks like we're getting into some layers. They have some intact pieces. I've been finding all kinds of fragments. Looks like a prescription bottle. Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff down here. There we go. It's a prescription bottle. It's got increments. Dates from 1908 to 1916, so this thing's over 100 years old. Broken nurser bottle. Oh, and a horseradish. Sometimes these have maker's marks, company names on them. This one doesn't. It's a threaded top though. This is a bit newer, I'd say closer to 1920. Well, and a tool top prescription, so it doesn't have bad age. That's a round style prescription bottle. Getting all kinds of dinnerware fragments. Some of them look ornate. This bowl here, it's a semi-porcelain Homer Laughlin. So that was an American-made company. I believe these date post-1900. It's kind of a standard bowl. Oh, here we go. Machine-made liquor flask. It's actually a eagle style. You can see that ring on the neck. It's got some groundwater in it. Oh yeah, there's some of that ornate dinnerware. Sometimes, yeah, they have maker's marks on the side here. Brussels, W.M. Grinley, W.H. Grinley and Company, England, trademark. And it's got like a item number, lot number on it. It's got a really nice pattern. That's a English transferware. Hitting, yeah, these rusted cans down here too. There's a bunch of them. That's likely why the ground settled. Got another plate. Got like a little floral pattern on the edge right there. It's kind of a really standard style for the turn of the century. And this might be a tooled top. Yeah, it's a tooled crown top. Could be a beer or a soda. No company name or maker's mark on it, but that's a little earlier. I'd say pre-1910 on this one. Look at all this stuff. And a semi-porcelain coffee cup. You know, I thought this had a broken handle at first, but it was actually made without one. I see that fairly often. Broken liquor flask, and a couple more. When folks threw this stuff down the pit, they seemed not to worry too much about having the piece survive. They just chucked it down. Sometimes I was told they even tried to intentionally break them just to save room in the pit. This is fairly ornate. Oh, it's got a hen on it. Try to get all the pieces together. Oh, I haven't found bottom, and finding more plate fragments, a couple bottles, working my way towards plenty of rusted cans in here. Oh, some kind of a perfume. Rieger's California Perfumes. Tooled top. It's thick glass. When these are damaged, these perfume bottles are usually cracked like that. The glass managed to hold itself together. This is circa 1905. There we go, Whitmore, Boston, USA. That's a tooled top shoe polish. I put this thing at around the turn of the century. And a machine-made half-pint Eagle-style liquor flask. Looks like another prescription type bottle. There's the softer layers down here. It's usually where I start finding stuff. Yeah, it looks like just a plain round style prescription. Plain white piece, semi-porcelain. There we go. Got a ironstone China coffee cup. That's pretty cool. It's got a cool handle design. And a tooled top liquor flask. This stuff's getting older. In here I found pieces of a earlier mason jar as well. That's circa 1905. Oh, some kind of a metal piece. No idea, maybe a lid of some sort. That's nice. I think that's cut glass. You can usually tell when it's sharp. Oh yeah, that is definitely cut glass. Turn of the century piece. Huh. Some kind of a milk glass lid, likely to a cosmetic container, maybe a cold cream. Sometimes these have a stamping from the company that can give a clue, but this one's blank. We have a prescription bottle. I'm amazed at how hard packed this clay cap is. Tool top prescription. Unfortunately, there's no local name on it. WBM Co. That's the Western Bottle Manufacturing Company. I believe they were out of Chicago. Got a lot of increments on the side. That puts it at 1908 or later. And another liquor flask. Early machine-made piece. And another round-style prescription bottle. And a floral pattern plate. That is very ornate. Got to be a maker's mark. Sterling China. Really faint crown logo, but if you look close at the rim on that, look at the flowers and vines. That's beautiful. I'm clearing down the north side, and this metal piece flipped out. Looks like it's fairly ornate. I'm not sure if it would have been a drawer pull or some kind of decorative piece for furniture. It's really good looking though. I also found this lamp burner. That's brass. It's in remarkable shape for being in the ground this long. There's no solid deterioration on it. Oh, and here's that's the fuel reservoir for the lamp. Looks like it's a tin, something. It's been in the ground a while for sure. Oh wow, this has a really nice pattern. That's amazing. That is beautiful. Look at that. What do we have? Russell's, something from England. Look at that blue. It's English transferware at its finest. Looks like a beer. Okay, that's an oldie. Schmidt from St. Paul, Minnesota. It's got a tooled crown top. Really nice looking glass, really clean. And that's definitely pre-1910. Like a broken spittoon. It just drops right in here. Looks like some kind of medicine, possibly. Huh, this is an interesting piece. That's a tooled top. Chattanooga Medicine Company. McElry's Wine Bacardi. So there's one side in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I think I've dug these before, but not very often. That's earlier than a lot of the stuff we've dug in this pit. Looks like an ironstone china coffee cup. And a kind of unusual style liquor flask. It's an early machine-made piece. It's got kind of a strange squatty type top on it. Almost looks like an eagle flask, but a little different style. I think this is the first I've ever dug at this one. And another liquor flask, a machine-made eagle style. Maybe some kind of wine bottle or English ale. unusual. Looks like a turn mold. Definitely English made. Kind of a cool top on it. This English glass always holds up so well in the ground. Must have been made with really high quality silica sand. Oh, some kind of a, maybe a glue bottle. It's a machine-made threaded top. I think this could be part of it. Could have been like paste, spreading paste on stuff. And a tooled crown top. And a Schmidt beer from St. Paul. Made by the American Bottle Company. Another fairly early one. It's got remnants of a label on back. Unfortunately, there's not much left that's legible. And a little unembossed round style prescription bottle. That looks like some kind of stationary bottle. We may have a patent date. It's very faint embossing. Okay, made in USA. Diamond Ink Company. There's that machine-made threaded top piece. Could have held like mucilage or some kind of ink paste. Some kind of a paneled prescription bottle. This is strange. Too bad there's no embossing on this. Look at that. It's very unusual. No glass company marks. Some kind of a machine-made preserve bottle. Looks like an earlier machine-made piece. It's got a lot of bubbles in the glass. Likely held olives, capers, pickles, something along those lines. And a machine-made Madison style liquor flask. Another machine-made liquor flask. This might have that cork and seal finish. Might actually have a threaded top. Getting a strange date range in this pit. I'm wondering if this could be an outhouse pit that was cleaned out way back when and just kind of threw some stuff back to fill the void. And a tool top sanitized lyric style prescription. It's that 1908 to 1916 date range. And a tool top shoe polish. Martin and Martin, Chicago. I think I've found a few of these before. What do we have here? Ask for McMurray's Vanilla, worth $1 a drop. That's kind of cool. They actually put this in a prescription bottle. I like the slogan on it too. That's got to be from about 1905. What's this? Could be an insulator. Let's see. At least they threw some stuff back into this thing. Lundgren, possibly. Whiskey. The tool top. I love when the labels are at least somewhat legible. Okay. That's got a ground lip. This is a seed cup. It would have been part of a bird cage setup. This is a big house. The family seemed well off. Doesn't surprise me they would have had pet birds. These were very popular during the Victorian era, turn of the century in the US here. And another liquor flask, partial label. Another machine-made piece. And another liquor flask. That's a cork and seal finish. kind of cool. Hair health. Hayes hair health. That's an older one. So you can see Hayes on one panel, hair health. Just blank panels on the front and back. Would have had paper labels on them. I'm amazed at the amount of liquor flasks in here. That's a Mikado style. I think that's the first Mikado style flask we pulled out. It's a tooled top. And here's one with a glass stopper. It's a full half pint, machine made. Thought this was a liquor flask, but it might be a ale or... That's an old one. Seems like this layer is getting earlier. I wonder if it could have been, as I mentioned earlier, a dipped pit that they just thrown some stuff back in. This could be from the original layer. That's an old one. It's a turn mold. Is it an applied top? It's hard to tell. It's likely English made though, some kind of wine or champagne. A very fancy, I believe that's a flower pot or something, hand painted likely. Yeah, this is definitely an earlier layer down here. Got some kind of mark on the bottom, I can't tell. It's a tooled top, almost like a bromo seltzer, likely some kind of pharmaceutical bottle. Broken mason jar. And a machine-made liquor flask. Looks like a couple more liquor bottles. I'm amazed at how many of these things are down here. Makes me wonder if these were from the residence, or if there's just bottles around that they used to fill in the void. Tooled top liquor flask. And a machine made. Looks like it says bourbon. Good Something Bourbon. You can see there's a remnants of that paper label right there. This one dates from 1910 to 1920. And another Madison style liquor flask. This is kind of a cool plate. Looks hand painted. That mark is too far gone, but that's a cool floral pattern. It might be a, what do they call it, bone china. You can actually see light through it. Oh, and a tooled top liquor bottle. Just maybe a mold coat on the bottom. That's circa 1905. It's got some groundwater in it. It's like another liquor flask. That makes me wonder if the people who clean these pits took the empty bottles maybe from saloons or something. It kind of helped them out, and then they'd have things to throw down to fill the voids. It's a machine-made liquor flask. And another, this one's a tooled top, a little earlier manufacturing style. A semi-porcelain bowl. Oh, this piece looks interesting. Wow, that is really cool. Looks like some kind of a pitcher, maybe hand painted. It must have broken and they discarded it. Maybe I can find all the pieces. Oh, tooled top Eclipse style olive oil bottle. Looks like it might still have some olive oil inside. Some kind of a machine-made preserve bottle, pickle bottle. And another machine-made liquor flask. And another with a cork and seal finish, full of groundwater. Looks like some kind of bottle with a partial label. Buffalo Specialty Company, Buffalo, New York. Oh, liquid veneer. Yeah, it's probably embossed on the bottom too. Yeah, so it was a wood finish. Never found one with a label this intact before. It's kind of cool. Some kind of bucket here I've been trying to dig out. Looks like there's a plate inside of it. So far it looks intact. Okay, it's a serving platter. It's that same pattern though. Semi-porcelain. Could be a gold leaf on it. It's kind of cool. I'm cleaning out the sides of the pit and pulled up this liquor flask. This one's got a fairly intact label. It says Choice California Brandy. It's a 1910 to 1920 piece. Also got this I think celluloid kind of hair clip, I believe. Looks intact. No pieces are broken off of it that I can tell. Maybe a backing, but that's solid. I think this pit's almost done. Still got a few liquor flasks packed in here, and I don't know, maybe we'll get a surprise. Tooled top liquor flask, a nice amber color. Oh, here we go. Red top. Ferdinand Westheimer and Sons, St. Joseph, Missouri, and Cincinnati, Ohio. It's nice to find a marked one of these every once in a while. And a pharmaceutical type piece, almost looks like a Listerine bottle. No embossing on it though, it's a jeweled top. And another tooled top liquor flask. This one was wedged in. Wow. Looks like maybe an English bottle, definitely some English markings. See that it's kind of a little bit more crude than American bottles at the time. I believe that's an English made whiskey bottle. Oh, the bottles do seem a little older on bottom, which makes sense. That's another tooled top Eagle style liquor flask. And another tooled top one, just remnants of a paper label, but nothing legible. And another liquor flask, machine-made piece. I thought we had a soda for a second. The machine-made ketchup bottle full of groundwater. They have some kind of a beer bottle and some kind of cast iron piece. Cast iron stove part. It's for the firebox. Old range stove. And a big old tooled top liquor bottle. A nice amber color. There's the clay. This pit's done. Here's the hull. I concluded this was likely an outhouse pit that was cleaned sometime around 1915, and then some pieces were thrown back in, or thrown in as fill. Got some extract bottles, liquid veneer, perfume, pharmaceuticals, pickle bottles, olive oil, ketchup, some liquor quarts, patent medicines, shoe polish, prescriptions, stationery, some beer bottles, that seed cup, and this top row, actually the top couple rows, are liquor flasks. Some ironstone china, dinnerware. Well, there you have it. We'll get this thing filled back in. I'm now northeast of the house towards the back property line. Just down here, I was pushing a probe rod through the ground. You'll see I kicked some marks. I hit a loss of compaction and a lot of glass. I think we've got another pit. I'm down about a foot and we're into something good. This looks to be a top for an 1880s prescription bottle. It may actually say Fargo right there. We are getting into some layers. There's all kinds of glass, rusty metal. I did see a few bits of what I believe are undigested seeds. This could be an old outhouse pit. What do we have here? Whitmore, Boston. So yeah, the Whitmore brothers. They had a major shoe polish manufacturing company around the turn of the century. This one actually might date to the late 1800s. There we go. This is looking good. Okay, I'll try to get these out one at a time. I don't want to damage anything because everything's just packed in here. That's a broken shoe fly style liquor flask that dates to the 1880s or 1890s. Now this could be good. It looks like it may be a Blake style prescription. Those were popular in the 1880s. Looks like some kind of a prescription bottle, maybe a Blake style. Could be a good one. Gotta be careful not to break anything because it looks like it might be damaged. Yeah, everything is just packed in here. Ridiculously tight. Fortunately, there was no embossing on it, but we're definitely in the right era. Well, here's a doll arm. This was for a big doll. The family seems they were a bit well off to afford something like this during those times. Might actually have the match to it here. Oh yeah, so the other arm, I think it might have broken. Could be a leg. That's why it was discarded. And a bottle. Looks like a flavoring extract, possibly a medicine. There's plenty of cans in this pit. Plenty of rusted cans. This is remarkable. That is a very old doll head. This thing could date back to the 1870s. As you can see, it's less than a foot under the ground. Sat here all these years. Let's see here. Wow. That is amazing. It was likely made in Germany sometime in the late 1800s. I suppose a kid dropped it, broke, and they discarded it. These cans are making it difficult to dig. We do have a bottle over here. Looks like some kind of paneled piece. Oh, some kind of a medicine or a flavoring extract. It's got that oval panel on the front. Amazingly, this pit bottomed out at about 1.5 feet. I was clearing out the side and saw this Hood sarsaparilla bottle. C.I. Hood and Company, Apothecaries, Lowell, Massachusetts. That's a key mold bottom and applied tops of very early medicine. Classic for this area. And just over here there's some kind of bottle. Looks like maybe a ketchup bottle. Champagne style ketchup, I believe. It's got a likely a ground lip on it. That was it. I concluded this was an outhouse pit used by nearby residents sometime in the 1880s and 1890s. It was likely cleaned out and then some pieces thrown back in. Got an early lamp chimney, some doll parts, a broken GA date drugstore bottle from Fargo, North Dakota, and this Maginot prescription bottle from Moorhead, a couple medicines, extracts, shoe polish, ketchup bottle, and a liquor flask. All in all, wasn't too bad. It's always fun getting into these early pits. We'll get this thing filled back in. I'm now directly behind the house. Just over here, you'll notice this sunken area. I kicked some marks in the ground, had pushed a probe rod through, and hit a decent amount of glass. Wasn't very deep, maybe 1 foot or 2. I think we've got another pit. This is strange. We're into a very shallow pit. There's a couple pieces here. This is a big one. Feels like some kind of layer down there. What do we have here? Billings Clapp and Company, chemists, Boston. This is a fairly old bottle. It's got to be from the 1890s. Beautiful aqua color. It drops in. Here's another little bottle, Dr. King's New Discovery, H.E. Buckland and Company, Chicago. I've dug a lot of these. I believe this was a sample size. Consumption was running rampant in these times. It was usually a consumption cure. I've got some amber glass. We might actually have a use layer. This could be the most shallow outhouse pit I've ever dug. But there's plenty of stuff in it. That's a tooled top piece, some kind of maybe pharmaceutical, no embossing. A child's shoe. There was a family living at the residence. And some kind of patent medicine bottle. It's blank though, no embossing. Looks like some kind of prescription bottle. This is a very strange pit. It's like this narrow layer with some stuff, and it's a little deeper on this side. Let's see what we got. Nothing home. AMF company. They made a lot of prescription bottles back in the day. This one's circa 1905. And a little homeopathic vial. These held very tiny pills. Thought I heard some glass scrape. Let's see here. And a broken Union Oval style liquor flask. We've been finding a lot of prescription bottles and what seem to be chemical bottles. Wonder if it's possible the druggist lived here. Nothing home. That's a Blake style prescription. Definitely pre-1900. Some kind of toiletry, I believe. Some kind of monogram. Couldn't say what company this is though. This one's falling out here. Let's see. Another little prescription. It's a Dean Foster and Company, that sunburst on the bottom. Circa 1890s. And another prescription. Yeah, another Dean Foster sunburst on the bottom. Jeweled top. And a broken prescription by AMF Company. No other embossing. Looks like another prescription. Maybe we'll get an embossed one. Oh, here we go. McNabb. Duncan F. McNabb, druggist, Moorhead, Minnesota. Got the Dean Foster sunburst on the bottom. Maybe is that a 7? I'm not sure. But yeah, that's the first Moorhead prescription bottle I've ever dug. And the second. Duncan F. McNabb, druggist, Moorhead. Dean Foster, but no embossing. Another prescription. Another little prescription. Dean Foster sunburst. No embossing. And another. It'd be cool to get one of these little ones with local embossing. Broken chemical bottle. Yeah, I wonder if this guy was a druggist. Got some kind of round bottle there, and I think another another little prescription. Some kind of ironstone. Oh, that's an old one. It's one of these with the slug plate or the circle embossing, Mrs. Stewart's Bluing, Minneapolis. I believe they started making these right after the company moved to Minneapolis from Faribault. A couple more pieces. This pit just won't end. A Blake style. If this had been embossed, that would have been something. That's probably 1880s. Some kind of, yeah, another chemical bottle, I think. And a little homeopathic vial. Mentioned earlier, these were for tiny pills, very tiny pills, had a paper label around the front. At one point, long gone. It's maybe intact. Yeah, another chemical bottle of some sort. It's possible the guy was a druggist. It's all finished up. I concluded this was a trash dump used in the late 1890s, early 1900s. Got a decent variety. That Mrs. Stewart's Bluing bottle. Some prescriptions. That one intact piece from Moorhead. It's definitely the best. Some patent medicines, chemical bottles. All in all, not too bad. We'll get this filled back in.